The house was breathing softly that evening, settling into itself the way old places do after sunset, when the walls remember everything they've witnessed and choose silence instead. Rain pressed gently against the windows, blurring the world outside into streaks of silver and shadow, while Elena lay stretched across her bed, the glow of her phone illuminating her face like a secret she hadn't meant to uncover. Her room smelled faintly of lavender and dust, comfort and neglect existing side by side. The ceiling fan turned slowly above her, clicking once every rotation, a sound she had known since childhood. She scrolled without thinking at first, muscle memory guiding her thumb, until something caught, an unfamiliar name, a message preview that felt too intimate to be accidental. Her breath slowed. Her chest tightened. She read it once, then again, then a third time, each pass sinking deeper, carving something hollow behind her ribs. Words of affection. A promise. A familiarity that did not belong to her father. The secret circle formed quietly then, invisible but absolute, wrapping itself around her like a boundary she hadn't agreed to cross but now couldn't step out of. She sat up slowly, pulling the blanket around her shoulders as if the fabric could protect her from what she now knew. Footsteps sounded in the hallway. Her door opened without a knock. Her father stood there, framed by the dim light from the corridor, his expression neutral, almost gentle. "You still up?" he asked, voice calm, unaware. Elena's phone dimmed in her hand. "Yeah," she said too quickly, and the word tasted wrong. He glanced at the screen, then back at her face. A pause, small, ordinary, devastating. "Don't stay up too late." "I won't." He nodded, lingered for half a second longer than usual, then turned and left, the door clicking softly behind him. The house exhaled again. Elena didn't move. She stared at the door long after it closed, her fingers tightening around the phone until her knuckles ached. The secret circle pulsed, heavier now, charged with the unbearable weight of knowing something that would fracture everything if spoken aloud. She lay back down, eyes fixed on the ceiling, rain whispering its way down the glass. Somewhere in the house, her parents' bedroom light flicked off. She turned her phone face down, as if hiding it could undo what it held. Later that night, long after the house fell fully asleep, her phone buzzed again. One vibration, deliberate and familiar. "Noah, you awake?" She hesitated, the circle tightening, then typed back. "Yeah." Minutes later, his car headlights swept briefly across her window. She pulled on a sweater and slipped out quietly, the cool night air brushing her skin as she crossed the lawn. Noah leaned against his car, hands tucked into his jacket pockets, his presence steady in a way that always felt like relief. "You okay?" he asked immediately, because he always noticed. She nodded automatically, then shook her head instead. They sat on the hood of his car, the rain easing into mist around them, the street empty and hushed. He didn't push. He never did. Silence stretched between them, dense but not uncomfortable, filled with things unsaid. Elena stared at the wet pavement. The secret circle pressed against her chest, demanding to be acknowledged. "I found something," she said finally, voice barely above the rain. Noah turned toward her, all his attention focused, like the rest of the world had narrowed to this moment. "Do you want to talk about it?" She swallowed. "I don't know if I'm allowed to." Something flickered in his eyes, concern, maybe fear, but he nodded. "Then we can just sit." They did. Shoulder to shoulder, not touching, yet close enough to feel each other's warmth. The space between them hummed with tension, fragile and electric. Elena traced a small circle on the fogged metal of the hood with her fingertip, round and endless. The secret circle. Noah watched the motion, something dawning slowly in his expression, as if he sensed the shape of what she couldn't say. And for the first time, Elena wondered how long she could carry this alone. The night deepened around them, the kind of quiet that felt intentional, as if the world had decided to step back and let whatever was forming between them take its time. A streetlight flickered once, then steadied, casting a soft amber glow over Noah's car, over Elena's folded hands, over the unspoken weight resting between their shoulders. She kept tracing the circle on the hood, again and again, the motion absent-minded but precise, like she was trying to remember the shape of something important before it disappeared. Noah noticed. He always noticed the small things, how her fingers trembled when she was nervous, how she went still when something hurt too much to name. "You've been quieter lately," he said eventually, his voice low, careful not to fracture the fragile calm. "I thought maybe I'd done something." Her head lifted just enough for him to see the surprise in her eyes. "No," she said immediately. "You didn't." The certainty in her voice startled even her. She let out a slow breath, shoulders sinking. "It's just, things change. Even when you don't want them to." Noah nodded, gaze fixed somewhere beyond the street, as if he were trying to see the future written into the dark. "Yeah, I guess they do." Silence returned, but it was different now, charged, expectant. Elena felt the secret circle tightening, urging her toward the edge of confession, without letting her step over it. She wanted to tell him everything. The messages. The realization. The way her childhood suddenly felt like a fragile set piece, beautiful but hollow. "Instead," she said, "do you ever feel like you're standing inside something you can't leave, but no one else knows it's there?" Noah turned fully toward her this time. The distance between them shrank, not physically, but emotionally, like something unseen had drawn them closer. "All the time," he admitted. "I just didn't know that's what it was called." She smiled faintly at that, the expression fleeting but real. Her finger paused mid-circle. "I think I stepped into one," she said. "A circle. And if I speak, it breaks everything. But if I don't, I disappear inside it." Noah's chest tightened. He could hear the vulnerability beneath her words, the quiet plea she hadn't voiced outright. He wanted to reach for her hand, to anchor her, but fear held him back, not of rejection, but of overstepping something sacred. "Whatever it is," he said slowly, "you don't have to carry it alone. Even if you can't tell me yet." Her eyes burned at that. She blinked quickly, looking away. The rain had stopped entirely now, leaving the air sharp and clean, like the moment after a storm when everything feels newly exposed. They talked then, but not about the secret. About school, about the coffee shop down the street that never got her order right, about the movie they'd both pretended not to cry at years ago. Ordinary things. Safe things. Yet beneath every word, something deeper stirred, stretching, testing its boundaries. At one point, Elena laughed softly at something Noah said, the sound surprising them both. It lingered between them, warm and fragile. Noah watched her in that moment. Really watched her, the curve of her smile, the way her eyes softened when she forgot to guard herself. He'd been in love with her quietly for so long it had become part of his internal landscape, like a familiar ache he'd learned to live with. He told himself it was enough just to be here, to be chosen in this small, silent way. But the circle was pulling him in too. When he finally drove her back to the house, the windows were dark. The place looked the same as it always had, but Elena knew better now. She knew how easily a life could fracture without making a sound. They lingered by the car again, neither quite ready to end the night. "Thanks for coming," she said. "I didn't realize how much I needed, not to be alone." Noah nodded. "Anytime. You know that." Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, everything else fell away. The house, the secret, the future. There was just the space between them, taut with possibility. Elena almost said it then. Almost let the truth spill out, about her mother, about the messages, about the way love suddenly felt dangerous and fragile all at once. Her lips parted, but the circle tightened. She looked down instead. "Good night, Noah. Good night, Lena." She watched him drive away before slipping back inside, every step heavier than the last. In her room, she lay awake again, phone glowing in the dark. She didn't open the messages. She didn't need to. She stared at the ceiling, replaying the night, the way Noah had looked at her, like she was something worth protecting. Somewhere deep inside, something shifted. A quiet realization, terrifying and tender all at once. The secret circle wasn't just about what she knew anymore. It was about what she felt. Morning crept into Elena's room like an apology, soft light slipping through the curtains, touching the edges of furniture, pretending nothing had changed. The house stirred gently, floorboards murmuring under distant footsteps, the low hum of the coffee machine starting its daily ritual. It all felt rehearsed. Artificial. as if the world expected her to play her part the same way she always had. She lay still, eyes open, the secret circle tight around her chest, more defined now, its edges sharpened by the night she hadn't slept through. Her phone rested beside her pillow. She hadn't opened it. She didn't need to. The knowledge lived in her now, permanent and pulsing. At breakfast, her mother smiled too easily. Her father read the paper like he always did. Elena watched them from behind her mug, every gesture suddenly loud with meaning. The way her mother brushed crumbs from the counter, the way her father thanked her without looking up. Love, she realized, could look perfectly normal while quietly rotting from the inside. The circle closed in. Later that afternoon, she met Noah at the library, the place where they had learned to exist beside each other without expectations. Sunlight filtered through tall windows, dust drifting lazily in the air. They sat at their usual table, knees almost touching, notebooks open but untouched. Noah glanced at her, concern flickering across his face. "You look tired." She huffed out a breath. "I didn't sleep." He nodded, unsurprised. "Want to talk about it?" She hesitated, fingers curling around her pen. The secret circle trembled, pressing against her ribs like it sensed her weakness. "I can't," she said softly. "Not yet." "Okay," he replied immediately. No frustration. No disappointment. Just patience. It undid her a little. They worked in silence for a while, the scratch of pens and turning pages filling the space. Elena found herself watching Noah instead of her notes, the way his brow furrowed when he concentrated, the way he pushed his sleeve up absent-mindedly, exposing his wrist. Small things. Dangerous things. She wondered when it had started feeling like this awareness, this pull, this quiet fear that if she leaned just a little closer, everything would collapse. The secret circle shifted again, expanding now, stretching to include him. When they left the library, the afternoon had softened into gold. They walked without a destination, letting the sidewalk guide them. At the park, they sat on a bench beneath a tree just beginning to shed its leaves, the air cool enough to justify closeness. Elena hugged her sweater tighter around herself. "You're shaking," Noah said. "I'm fine." "You don't have to be." She closed her eyes at that, the words landing too close to the truth. When she opened them, she found him watching her, not casually, not politely, but like he was trying to memorize her. The silence between them thickened. "Elena," he said, then stopped. Swallowed. "There's something I've been wanting to say. For a long time." Her heart stuttered. The circle pulsed violently now, warning her, urging her, trapping her all at once. She looked down at her hands, tracing that familiar shape on her knee. A circle. Always a circle. "I don't think I'm in a good place to hear it," she whispered. Noah froze. The words hurt more than he expected, but he nodded slowly. "Okay." The disappointment in his eyes was brief but devastating. Elena felt it like a bruise blooming under her skin. "I'm sorry," she added quickly. "It's not you. It's—" She cut herself off, breath uneven. "I'm scared of breaking things." Noah's voice softened. "Sometimes things are already broken." She looked at him then, really looked at him, and something in her cracked. Tears welled up despite her effort to hold them back. "I found out something," she said, the words trembling. "About my family. About love." Noah leaned forward instinctively, elbows on his knees, fully present. "What did you find out?" She shook her head, tears slipping free now. "That people lie, even when they promise not to." The secret circle tightened to the point of pain. Noah didn't ask more. He didn't need to. He reached out slowly, deliberately, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His hand closed around hers, warm, steady, real. The contact sent a shock through her system. She inhaled sharply, fingers tightening around his like she was afraid he'd disappear. For a moment, they just sat there, hand in hand, the world suspended. Something shifted then, subtle but irreversible. The circle changed shape, no longer just a prison, but a boundary they were standing inside together. Noah spoke quietly, almost to himself. "I've loved you for a long time." Her breath caught. "I wasn't planning to say it like this," he continued, eyes fixed on their joined hands. Or today. Or ever, if that's what you needed. But I don't want you thinking you're alone in this. Whatever it is. The words hit her like a wave, soft, relentless, overwhelming. She wanted to say it back. God, she wanted to. The truth burned at the back of her throat, desperate to be released. But another truth rose with it. Darker. Heavier. She pulled her hand away gently. I can't, she whispered, tears streaking down her face. Not yet. There's something you don't know. Something that changes how I see everything. Noah nodded slowly, heartbreak carefully masked. Then I'll wait. She stood abruptly, afraid that if she stayed 1 second longer, she would shatter completely. I need time, she said. I'll give you all the time you need. She walked away before he could see her break, the secret circle clinging tighter than ever, now heavy with 2 confessions, one spoken, one still trapped inside her. And as she disappeared down the path, Noah remained on the bench, staring at the empty space beside him, knowing that whatever came next would change everything.